Hey guys, I'm back in the element again, and today what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to finish up this back area. In my last video I finished up the power system, and what I want to do is I want to put a lid, a ventilated lid, just so it just looks a little bit cleaner. But the main thing I want to do is I want to build drawers on the second side, kitchen drawers, maybe some storage. I don't know, there's not a whole lot of room, so maybe just some kitchen drawers. So let's give it a shot. Alright, if you remember, underneath my element, where my element is normally parked, I have a whole bunch of cabinet wood that I got for 23 bucks or something like that. But we're going to use that wood and we're going to build those drawers. Alright, so let's start with this. So I'm going to cut out a thin piece of wood that's going to fit right over the top. And now that I have free solar power with my solar panels, I'm going to use my free power to do all my cutting. All right, so I'm gonna cut an opening for the wires to flow smoothly in, and then I'm gonna put some holes for some ventilation on top. All right, gonna cut out a little notch for the wire. Just gonna eyeball it. If I'm off, I'm off. All right, so here it would slide in right there, and you could see I didn't cut the hole deep enough, but I like the other holes, the ventilation holes. So I just need to make this a little bit deeper. All right, so now it looks good. It'll slide in like that. And now I could leave the cover just like this, but I feel like I want to put some hinges so that I could just open up and access it. So I'm going to add some hinges on the other side. So I got some light duty hinges I got off of Amazon. That's pretty inexpensive for a big pack. You can see it's thin, but this is a light duty application. All right, so I got those hinges in. See the hinges in the back, wires slide in, and now it's nice and neat. I can still access my plugs. All right, so now to the drawer side. So I want to make the height about the same height as this, because again, I want to have that chair be able to come back and lay flat. So I'm going to cut these boards to make the frame for my drawers same height. Okay, so I got these pieces cut out, and you could see where I might run into some problems, and that's when I'm using these ports right here, whether it's USB or the cigarette lighter adapter. I might not have enough room to plug my devices in, so I'm going to cut a little notch out of this guy so that I have more margin to plug my stuff into there, and then we'll drill it in. All right. So there, that should give me some access to the ports, a little bit more room. So let's drill everything in and then put on the top. All right, so that goes in like that. So now I need to have a top. All right, so I got that piece cut. That's gonna go on top of there, and I'm gonna screw everything down, but don't forget, I need to leave a slot that I made for these plugs to get easy access, so I need to cut a notch out of that too. I'm gonna mark it so I could make a notch. All right, so I got this cut out, so let's test my notch. So these cigarette lighter adapters are usually pretty long, so let's make sure it works the way I planned it to. And it's long enough. You can see it's just barely long enough to fit. And I can plug it in and unplug it. It's close, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the hole just a little bit bigger, just so I can slide it in a little bit easier, and then we'll screw everything in. All right, there you go. That's the way it's going to look. Okay, next up, I need to build the drawers that come in and out of this enclosure. So the drawer can't be too high because it has to fit that slot. So it's going to be around this high on each side, because I want it to be able to fit through in case something's plugged in. All right, so I made that frame. It's going to slide in. And it's going to sit underneath this notch, so it's not going anywhere. Okay, so let's do the bottom. All right, let's get it on. All right, so the bottom's in. That's the way it's going to look. Sliding pretty smoothly. So now I need to make some dividers and organize my stuff. Okay, so again I had to cut a little notch so that there's that notch right there, just to give me more margin. Now I'll do the dividers. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make a divider for this stove top that I have. So I'm going to make some border walls, and that'll help hold that in steady. And then I'll make some partitions for pots and pans and things like that. In case you're wondering, I'm having 0 issues running everything off my solar and battery power. So this divider I'm going to screw in from the bottom, and then I'll screw in these guys from the bottom also for extra reinforcement. All right, those walls are screwed in, so put this in. All right, that's a nice and snug fit. That looks good. All right, so for the pots and pans, I did a review on these pan sets earlier. You could click the video up there if you want to see the review, but there's a handle so it doesn't take up that much room, and it's going to fit right there. So what I need to do is I need to make a little wall right here, and then another wall right here for things like spatulas and stuff like that. So 2 more walls, one here and one there. All right, so I got the walls up, so let's see how everything fits. That's really nice and snug. This pin goes right there. Spatulas go right there. Of course, you need some spices. They go right there. There's some spots here for some spoons and things like that, but let's make sure everything fits. Perfect. Take a look from this angle, pull it out, and this kitchen kit you just turn, or you take wherever you need to go. You don't have to leave it like this per se, it's just kind of a storage spot. All right, so let's test everything we built today. Let's take a first look at this. I can still access those plugs, and you guys saw I was using those plugs for all my cuts today. That's good. So let's look over here. First, I have to add this notch here for these power ports that I have here, because I know this port in particular, the cigarette lighter, can get a little bit long. So I made a little notch for it so I could plug things in and out. This is USB, which is fine, and this is just a switch. I could still access that switch easily. So here I built an enclosure for my drawer. So let's look at the drawer. Now this is a kitchen kit. You just pull it out and you got everything you need, and you know, you could store whatever you like to customize it, but the idea is that you could just take this wherever you need to go, put it on the picnic bench or wherever, and then you could cook everything there. You know, it has your spices and your spatulas, and you could add spoons and forks or whatever you want over here, whatever there's room for. And when you're done, you just put everything back and everything's nice and neat, and you could still store things on top of this. When you're traveling, you know, you could still load up a whole bunch of stuff. Now, if I didn't have this top and this top, it might be a little bit hard for me to load things on, but with these tops, it's going to make it real easy, and it makes it look really clean. Well, you know what time that is. It's Miller time. And all I really got is this big bottle, usually to share, but I guess I'm going to have to drink it all by myself.